Oh no! You're a Game of Thrones fan with less time in Malta than Ned Stark had on the chopping block? Or navigating Mdina slower than Hodor, solving a crossword puzzle? Fear not, I'm Giacomo of Malta Team Tours, and I've been living longer here than Grandmaster Aemon has been celibate. 𝗥𝗏𝗱𝗲, the mighty fortress built by the knights to choke the entrance of the Grand Harbour. Today it's Malta's Mecca of filmmaking. Troy, Gladiator 1 and 2, just over there, and more. Game of Thrones. You might remember the entrance of Fort Ricasoli being the entrance of the Red Keep when Ned Stark arrives. As for the 𝗕𝗏𝗶𝗃, well, that is definitely CGI because, as you know, Malta is not deer haven. But the spirals, that is Baroque beauty. Because like everything else in Game of Thrones, which is medieval, it's all Baroque. Also, another Game of Thrones scene, just in that very door, Arya Stark trying to get back into the Red Keep and not being believed. In front of you is Ned Stark's last stop before the chop, locked deep inside the Red Keep. But today, that is Fort St. Angelo. And whilst Arya Stark, once again, was also chasing cats in there, many winters and White Walkers later, another very famous person was locked up in there. Caravaggio, they say, was locked up in Fort St. Angelo. And unlike Ned Stark, he did leave there with his head on his shoulders, but like Ned Stark, he didn't live for long. But that is a completely other story. Moral of the story, in Malta, even prisons have 5-star historical significance. Recognize this street? You should. It's in Game of Thrones, Season 1 as well. In this street, Arya Stark tried to trade a pigeon for bread. I truly suggest to walk here, not just for the Game of Thrones scene, but also to admire the atmospheric arched passageway. Next is one of my favorites, Fort Manuel. Not just a pretty face, but also an 18th century masterpiece. Stunning, intimidating, and also the place where Ned Stark loses his head in Season 1. And later, his head is also placed on a spike in the same Fort Manuel, not San Anton. I think that Sean Bean's agent just looks for exotic places for him to die. Not bad, eh? Just another Tuesday at the office. In front of you, on your left, is where Ned Stark is about to become a head shorter. No surprise there. And the scene where the heads were on pikes happened just on your right. However, inside, where you can see the arches, further in, there's a wooden plank, and that is where Sansa Stark sees her father's head on a pike. Behind you is my capital city of Valletta, or maybe not Valletta, maybe it's King's Landing. San Anton Palace and its serene surroundings made numerous appearances in Season 1 of Game of Thrones. One of the most memorable scenes was in Episode 9, and that is where we're heading. All is accomplished. The city watch is yours, says Littlefinger to Ned Stark just beyond this very same door. Come. However, beyond this door, it's part of our president's private part of the palace. And I'm just a peasant. I'm not noble enough to be given access, and neither are you. But you can enjoy knowing that beyond this door is where this famous part of Game of Thrones happened. It's also one of the final scenes where Ned Stark still has his head. Speaking of which, many online articles mention that just over here is where Sansa Stark was shown her father's head. Not true, not true. And those that say that should themselves be beheaded. Behold the Mdina Gate, also known as the Villana Gate. So much Baroque bling bling all over. More Baroque bling bling than Cersei raiding the High Garden treasury. But Game of Thrones said, 18th century gate? Who cares? Who cares? 18th century Baroque? Who cares? We care less than Joffrey cared about Sansa's feelings. This gate will look perfect as a medieval gate in our series Game of Thrones. It will look so perfect as the medieval entrance to King's Landing. Nowadays, it's not the walls or the ditch that will stop you entering, but the hundreds and tsunamis of Instagrammers and TikTokers all ferociously taking selfies quicker and faster than Daenerys is busy collecting titles and allies. Right here in season 1, Lady Catelyn Stark enters King's Landing from here, accompanied with Sir Castle, sniffing out Lannister plots. Here, Sir Roderick whispers, "Fewer eyes over here, milady, but still too many. Onward, let us head inside and see if the Lannisters are behind the plot on Bran."
Fewer eyes back here, milady, but still too many.
It's 9 years since I set foot in the capital, and no one knew who I was the last time I came either.
Here, Lady Stark barely finishes saying, "It's been 9 years since I've been here, you know, no one's gonna recognize me." Which, let's be honest, it's the medieval equivalent of wearing sunglasses and saying, "No one's gonna recognize me." Predictably, she is greeted with, just from the other side, greeted with 2 horsemen. "Welcome to the city, Lady Stark. Would you mind following us?" "Yes, I would. Done nothing wrong."
My lady.
Welcome to King's Landing, Lady Stark. Would you mind following us?
I would. We've done nothing wrong.
We've been instructed to escort you into the city.
Instructed? I don't know who's providing your instructions, but...
Follow me, Lady Stark.
And later, this is the last place where Ned Stark sees his wife.
I can't do anything without proof.
And if you find the proof?
Then I bring it to Robert. And hope he's still the man I once knew. You watch yourself on the road, huh? That temper of yours is a dangerous thing.
My temper? God's be good. You nearly killed 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗏 yesterday.
He could have said, "I love you," or "stay safe." No. In true Ned Stark fashion, he says, "Off with you." Which, ironically, foreshadows his "off with my head too." The Stark man. Great with swords, but terrible with goodbyes. Welcome to Mesquita Square, Game of Thrones fans. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you what happened over here. Lots of violence to keep us hooked in this square. Jaime Lannister confronts Ned Stark just outside the brothel.
small pack of wolves.
Stay back, sir. This is the hand of the king.
Was the hand of the king. I'm not sure what he is. Lord of somewhere very far away.
I don't know about you, but I think the blood made for some very good fertilizer. Just look how big the tree has become. It was so small during the filming. It actually didn't cover the brothel like today. I like to think of the square as a spaghetti western, except with more swords and spears than actually guns. Over here, Jaime Lannister draws his sword, quickly kill Ned Stark's men, and Ned Stark is the last Stark standing, or actually, to be more precise, kneeling, because he's stabbed in his knee, and this is one of the most epic fight scenes in Game of Thrones Season 1, just in this very square. Remember that unforgettable part where Ned Stark confronts Cersei Lannister in the gardens of the Red Keep about the true parentage of her children? Just over here. And where else would this unforgettable scene be filmed but at St. Dominic's in Rabat? Here is the man himself. A very holy setting for a very unholy conversation, don't you think? Just over here. As you're realizing, this is the exact iconic spot where Cersei delivers her most iconic line. When you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. There is no middle ground. And just a few steps away, in the very same halls of the Priory, right here, Ned Stark receives the fateful news. King Robert is gone. The gods give him rest. And soon, so will you, Ned Stark, headless in a fortnight. No spoilers, but come on, it's Sean Bean. You know he had to die at some point.
Missteps yourself. Such a sad mistake.
I've made many mistakes in my life, but that wasn't one of them.
Oh, but it was. When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There is no middle ground.
Oh, in all 8 seasons, Game of Thrones is mentioned only once. Only once over here at the Dominican Priory. When you're in Malta, visit this place. It's got a lovely museum as well, apart from obviously one of the most famous scenes of Game of Thrones filmed over here. For all you Game of Thrones fans, it all starts here in 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗃. Season 1, Episode 1. Winter is coming.
Where is he? The Dothraki are not known for their punctuality.
Enter Daenerys Targaryen, mother of dragons. But it's not the best of starts in Episode 1, because just over here, her brat of a brother has just traded her off to Khal Drogo as if she was a packet of crisps. So why am I outside, not inside? Well, just as our grandmasters before, our current presidents have taken this palace as their summer residence. And once again, me, the peasant, I'm not invited inside. What are you laughing at? Neither are you. But you can still enjoy the sights from over here, just over here, or the other gate on the other side. Welcome to 𝗦𝗏𝗔, as we say. Definitely one of the most picturesque and serene locations in the whole island. Stand at this cliff with its drop, where Khal Drogo went plop after falling from his horse. Do you remember that scene? Due to complications from his wounds, just over there. Good luck finding this place. But if you do tag us for a shout out, showing us you're a tour legend and basically still alive. This is where we Maltese come to escape other Maltese, especially on a nice Sunday stroll, and also a shortcut to another not so easily accessible Game of Thrones location. And it's from here that I can save you a couple of hours and especially sore feet to reach the season finale of Game of Thrones Season 1. Just over there. Now there are a couple of ways to trek down there, one of which is from 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, where we were earlier. Another one, well, forget about it. Good luck finding it on your own. But I'm here to save you some pain. The area on your left, jutting out, that hosts the Dothraki camp in the season finale, where Daenerys becomes the mother of dragons. Her husband, Khal Drogo, dead. The murderess, burnt alive. And Daenerys walks into the flames with her dragon eggs and comes out with 3 baby dragons, comes out like a boss, and that's it. Season finale. Hence why you can also see why many Game of Thrones fans, they never share photos about this location. Not many walk down there, or actually know the shortcut like you do now to visit this site, or at least admire it from afar. Remember that village pillaged scene in Season 1, Episode 8, The Pointy End? Just over here. Yes, you're looking at where all that mayhem was filmed. And if you look closely, it's also the scene where, if you look closely, Maltese bread makes an appearance.
I thought the Dothraki didn't believe in money.
Gold to hire ships.
Discover the medieval secrets of Malta's ancient capital before you start your night out with your Maltese host in a real Game of Thrones.